Okay,
Hello,
can you
sir.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, right. So we continue with where we stopped the last lesson. Now, in our last lesson, we stopped at the standard form or the scientific notation. So it involves a lot of zeros, right? Because some of these numbers, they are very big and you cannot write out the number in full. So you have to express this number in scientific notation, or some numbers they are very small, so you have to express them in scientific notation. So today we are going to look at some practical examples how to handle these very big numbers or very small numbers. Okay, the first problem, you read the first problem, example 1.6. Estimate the number of cells in the human brain. Okay, so the brain is located in the upper portion of the head, and the volume could be approximated by a cube L 20 centimeter on a side. Okay, right. So the dimensions ranging from a few microns to a meter or so. Now, what is this micron? Micron, micro. We look at this micro.
I
Have you
never had it.
learned about this
We can hear you, by the way.
micro? Micro is actually 10 to the power of 10 to the power of negative 6. There's no micro here. Oh, never mind. I use this one to write. I use this to write. Okay, micro is like that. Micro, micrometer,
Okay.
micrometer. So it's actually
Mhm.
10 to the power of negative 6. This is 1 micrometer, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So uh, first of all, we try to find out what is the volume of the brain, right? What is the volume of, what is the volume of the brain? I use red color better. What is the volume of the brain? Then we try to find also the volume of one cell. Now, in doing so, you must make sure the two units are consistent, right? Let's say if the volume of the brain is calculated in centimeter and the volume of the cell is calculated in microns, then it is not consistent. So when you
Okay.
want to divide or you want to multiply two quantities together, you must make
Mhm.
sure that they are consistent. Now, normally we convert them to SI unit. So if it's in SI unit, then we are quite sure that they are consistent. Otherwise,
Okay.
we don't know what unit is consistent with which unit. We don't know. Hello?
Hello.
Ha ha
Mr. Low.
ha
Idea, Mr. Low.
ha. Aja.
OK，等陣，阿家是3點左右或者係隨到 OK 哦。
3點嘅出淡薄啦嚇。
3點，可能3點過㗎，好啦，Mr. Low，
OK
你咪講啊。
OK OK
OK，OK，sure，thank
thank you
you，Mr. Low。
okay. So so now we try to calculate what is the volume of the brain.
Okay.
Now the volume of the brain is a cube with sides 20 cm. Now this 20 cm, if you want to compare with other units in meter, we might as well first change this to meter first. So 20 cm is 0.2 meter. 20 cm cube is 0.2 meter cube. Now in our last lesson, where is it? Last lesson. Okay, never mind. Somewhere before. And when we cube the number, we need to cube the units also. So in this case,
Okay.
0.2 we can change to 2 times 10 to the power of negative 1. Now we are already doing the scientific notation. So from one number, we change it to scientific notation. So when you cube this number, you also cube the unit. So when you cube the unit is cubic meter. When you cube this 2 times 10 to the power minus 1, you have to cube the number, become 8. You cube the 10 to the power of negative 1, becomes 10 to the power of negative 3. So now in your textbook, they round off this to the nearest 10, to the nearest 10. So
Okay.
8 to the nearest 10 is actually 10. But this 8 becomes 10, we cannot write 10 because it is not in the scientific notation. So we put down 1 and we shift 1 decimal place here. So it's 1 times 10 to the power of negative 2. It's,
Oh, okay, okay.
actually, it's 10 times 10 to the power of negative 3. 10 times 10 to the power of negative 3 is actually 1 times 10 to the power of negative 2. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
the number we round off to the nearest 10. To the
Okay.
nearest 10. Or the nearest decimal, the digit. Okay, then we need to find, this is the volume of the brain. We need to find the volume of the cell. Okay, so they tell us that it's the gas. This is given by the book. The site 10 micron. Micron means 10 micron means 10 times 10 to the power of negative 6. As I've said,
Okay.
micron means 10 to the power of negative 6. It is actually micrometer, right? Micrometer.
Yes.
So it's 10 micrometer, it means 10 times 10 to the power of negative 6. Again, when you want to find the volume, you have to cube the whole thing. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So 10 times 10 to the power of negative 6 is 1 times 10 to the power of negative 5. So when you cube it, every element inside this bracket, you have to cube. So 1 cube is 1. 10 to the power of negative 5 cube is 10 to the power of negative 15. So meter cube. So this is the volume of one cell. This is the
Uh-huh.
volume of the brain. So if you want to know the number of cells, you have to use the volume of the brain divided by the volume of, this is the volume of the brain, divided by the volume of one cell. So you can actually find out the number of cells.
Shut up.
So both these numbers, they are in scientific notation. So when you divide them, you have to subtract the indices of 10. So it becomes negative 2 minus negative 15. Okay, negative 2 minus negative 15. So it's negative 2 minus negative 15. Negative 2 minus negative 15 is actually negative 2 plus 15. That's why we have this positive 13 there. Is this okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can follow. Right. So we are going to look